do you think that like we're in World War III already?
We could be. It might be too hyperbolic, but we are in a period of tremendous flux. I'm not sure World War III is the right way to call it. It depends on what you attribute problems that we're looking at, where
Hmm.
they're coming from. So, for example, if the open borders and various things like money being pumped into Ukraine and stuff are part of World War III,
Hmm.
and that
Oh yeah.
we just don't know it, then yes.
Hmm.
Or if it's a prelude to World War III, then you know, um, then not yet, but we're getting close. We're getting dangerous. I look at. I've tried to understand why people of great power are doing things that seem so against the fundamental principles of the United States. So I would say, look, you got Democrats, you got Republicans, but down at the foundational level, we believe in the system. I no longer believe that to be true.
Hmm.
I believe I can see politicians doing things that you say, look, at the most foundational levels, they are acting in the disinterest of the United States. So the question becomes why? Who owns them? What are they? Who's calling the shots to get us to? Who told the European leaders to let millions of refugees flood into Europe and turn Europe into a shitstorm?
Hmm.
Who told us to open our borders?
Yeah, why is it, and it's just crazy, Professor Dave, like having so many discussions with you with Ukraine and,
Mhm.
international, what's going on around the world. And then to see so much developing since we last talked. And it just seems like you've been right about so many things when it comes to Russia or Ukraine. Has anybody come to you recently and been like, wow, like you were actually right about a lot of the stuff going on over there?
I get some of that. I think my
Hmm.
Ukraine call was one of my best.
Hmm.
My write up on Ukraine at the end of 2022. I think I almost have no revisions that I feel that
Wow.
I need to put into it. I think I nailed it. Um, I think Tucker Carlson's interview of Putin, for me, Putin's responses were an answer key
Hmm.
to what I wrote about at some
Hmm.
level. I do not believe Putin was lying. He certainly was shaping the narrative as best he could. Oh, I'm shocked. What's he going to do? Shoot himself in the foot? No.
Hmm.
Um, People who just said he was lying constantly, go fact check it. Find the part he lied about. And there are, I at one point put out a tweet said, what are his biggest lies from that interview? And I got the stupidest answers. Someone said, well, he said Hitler didn't want to invade Poland. And I go, well, first of all, I was having trouble remembering that part, but let's accept it. I said, there's all sorts of things I've ended up doing that I didn't want to do. So that statement's impossible to defend or refute. Who
Hmm.
Taylor might not have wanted to, not because he's a good guy, but because no, it wasn't. The timing was wrong. Who knows what?
Hmm.
And then, but he said, but then he did. So Putin's statement was accurate. Someone said he was going to talk about history for a minute or two, and it was 15 minutes. I go, that's his big lie. Holy shit! What are you doing?
I think from what I see from talking to people and watching it, that people wanted Putin to come out and expose the deep state, expose the corruption in the West, expose all the warmongers, and expose everything wrong with the West. And think about it, that's not really his place. His place isn't to
Well, he also
expose.
did. But to those of us who've been paying attention, it didn't seem like new news.
Mhm.
So he did call out the Nazis running around Ukraine,
Mhm.
and there are
Which
people claiming,
you've talked about
oh,
extensively,
extensively.
so you're the first person I thought about when he said that. So it's
And he
like,
also pointed out how many times he approached the West trying to say, look, we don't want trouble, but you got to stay away from A and B and C, that sort of thing. There's things that he's done that I'm not up to speed on where people say, well, he attacked Crimea or this or that. And I can only be so comprehensive before I got to let it go. But I could imagine that even for ones that look like he did something that was aggressive, you could say, yeah, but I don't know the backstory. So I don't know why he did it.
mhm.
And I could probably find out why, I guess, although the why is always, again, a deep question. It's a hard one to answer. I do believe that NATO had the power to stop that war right from the very beginning and chose not to.
Well,
So to me, there's 500,000 dead Ukrainians because of NATO.